Hey everyone, this is Libertarian Black Man. Social Security is a scam. I don't care what you have heard. This program does not and it never has served the best interests of the people. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why this is true. Scam number 1. Social Security is a piggy bank for federal spending. So what that means is if the federal government needs to spend more money than it is collecting in taxes and borrowing from private investors, then it has to go into its own accounts. And the account for which is plundered the most is Social Security. They take the money that is in the Social Security surplus and they spend it. They borrow it and spend it so it becomes part of the national debt. The national debt is about somewhere between 21 and 22 trillion dollars. 2.9 trillion of that is Social Security surplus. But you wouldn't know that if you listen to the most well-known advocacy organization for retired people in America, the AARP, American Association of Retired Persons. They declare on their website that the trust funds had $2.9 trillion in reserves at the end of 2017. This is only true on paper because the trust funds, the $2.9 trillion, have been borrowed and spent by the federal government on other things, such as military bases that we maintain overseas, other bills that we pay for maintaining federal departments, and subsidies for people all over the world and all over the country. So those trust funds, which are stated to be $2.9 trillion, are in fact gone. They have been borrowed and spent. They do not exist in any physical bank account. They only exist on paper. So the program, Social Security, is lying to us when it says that it has $2.9 trillion. It only has that on paper, but the money itself is gone. Scam number 2. Social Security confiscates our earnings without our consent to finance the incomes of retirees. What that means is when you pay money into Social Security, you are being deprived of an opportunity to invest that money into something that is going to provide a return for you in your retirement. But what is worse is that when the government takes your money, they don't even invest it into any kind of market-based portfolio, such as one containing stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, or alternative currencies, or anything else that is in the market being bought and sold and appreciating in value. If in fact there was no Social Security program, the money that we earned that Social Security would have taken from us, we would have been able to keep and then decide where it goes. If we want to put it in a savings account where it can earn interest, then we would put it there. If we want to be more aggressive and put it into the stock market where there's more risk but there's also more potential for reward, we could do that. If we want to buy real estate and hold that real estate for a few years and then sell it at a premium, we could have done that. We could have bought commodities like gold or silver or diamonds or something that is traded in the marketplace and has growth potential. We could have invested the money into alternative currencies like Bitcoin or foreign currencies that are in Asia, like the Japanese yen or the Chinese currency, or European or Latin American currencies. Now, of course, many of these currencies are not doing well, but the benefit of being able to keep our own money is that we have the option to choose where we invest it. And that is an option that is lost by Social Security because it takes the money and it is not invested into any market. It is actually being used to pay for the incomes of those who are retired. It is a redistribution of wealth policy, a rob Peter to pay Paul scheme. If you were a private investor and you were to run your hedge fund in the way that Social Security operates, that would be known as an illegal Ponzi scheme, and you would go to jail. You would be prosecuted for committing fraud. Just ask Bernie Madoff, who stole $60 billion from investors a decade ago because he did not invest any of his investor dollars into any real product, any real financial marketplace, a stock market, bond market, or any market. He simply took money from one person and used it to pay another. And when you do that, you're not creating wealth, you're just redistributing the money. But you're marketing yourself as a wealth-creating enterprise. So that is fraud, and that is what Social Security does, is it tells us that we have a retirement income when really we just take money from one person to pay another. Scam number 3. Social Security taxes its own benefits. And this comes right out of the Social Security Administration, right there on their website where they talk about income taxes and Social Security benefits. They say at the top of the page that some of you may have to pay federal income taxes on Social Security benefits. This rule applies to people who have income coming from other sources alongside their Social Security, such as maybe a part-time job or a business, interest from bonds they own, dividends from stocks, or any other taxable income. But people who only have Social Security as their income don't have to pay taxes. But anyone who has to pay taxes on Social Security is being lied to when they're told that they're going to get a certain amount of money. If they're told, for example, they're getting $1,000 a month, well, they have to pay taxes on that. So they have to give some of that money right back to the government. So they're not getting $1,000 a month at all. They're getting something less than that. People would be better off collecting welfare, because welfare is not taxed. Social Security, on the other hand, is taxed. So $1,000 in welfare benefits is $1,000. $1,000 in Social Security benefits is maybe 900 something or 800 something, whatever the tax rate is. But you are not getting what you are told that you're getting from Social Security. That's a fraud. That's a scam. And the reason for this is because 4% of Social Security money comes from taxing those benefits. In fact, the benefits are so large that they cannot be paid for from the payroll tax alone. We have to actually tax the very benefits that we're paying out to pay for them. So that really should let everybody know Social Security is a big fraud, even in the very check that you receive, because you have to give some of it back just to pay for it to come back to you in the next month. Scam number 4. Social Security taxes the poor in a way unlike the federal income tax. In fact, more than 44% of Americans, about half the public, pays no federal income tax. The reason for this is because there are so many deductions built into the tax code that the people who are near the bottom of the income ladder are getting back as much money as they're paying in, so they're really not paying federal income taxes. And that is something that we cannot get. We cannot get any deductions from Social Security. We do get them from the federal income tax. But when you don't get a deduction, you end up paying more to the government than when you do. This here is an example of a check stub, and it's not an actual stub, but it's just an example of what one can look like. Here you have your salary and the amount that you received in this particular check, and your year-to-date amount. Here is where your taxes are coming out. Federal income tax on this check is $314. Social Security tax is $155 that was taken out. And then you have other taxes, Medicare, state income, local income, and other taxes. The federal income tax, which we pay in, we get deductions for. So when we file taxes in the first quarter of the year, then we get a refund check. And the refund is the federal income taxes that we paid in coming back to us. Many people, for example, in this case, if this person were to not pay federal income taxes, they would have $314 that was taken out of their check, and then $314 coming back to them, or the equivalent of $314 per check coming back to them in their tax refund. But there are no deductions for Social Security, so it taxes the poor, because the poor all pay Social Security taxes, just like they pay federal income taxes, but the federal income taxes come back through deductions. So the Social Security tax, which has no deductions, is paid in, and it's a loss to that person, whereas they could have held on to that money and invested it in the way they saw fit. We want the poor to be able to get the benefits, but we tax the poor in order to pay for them, and we simply redistribute their wealth into a scam when we force them to pay Social Security. Scam number 5. Social Security is marketed as, but was never designed to be, a retirement program. This is probably the biggest misconception about Social Security of all time, and it is being pumped out by organizations all over the place. This is the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. It's a research organization and a progressive leaning one, and they want you to know what the top 10 facts of Social Security are, starting with fact number 1, that Social Security is more than just a retirement program. Let's stop there. Social Security is not, and it was never intended to be, a retirement program. Social Security is insurance for people who did not die when they were supposed to under life expectancy statistics. This is the reason why Social Security's collection age was set at 65, so that most people would never collect benefits, because the program was created in 1935 when life expectancy was 60, 61, maybe 62 at the very high end. But people were not living to be 65 in the mid-30s. So the age was set there so that those who did live at or beyond 65 would collect, but that the number of them was very small and that they would not live that much past 65. So it wouldn't bankrupt the program. If it was a retirement program, the age would not have been set at 65. It would have been lowered all the way down to 40 or 50 years old. That means that people would have been able to collect for at least 10 years, maybe 20 years. That would have been a retirement program, but a program designed to where most people were never meant to touch a single dollar is not a retirement program, because most people would never be retiring and living on it. It was insurance for people who lived longer than they were expected to. So what we need to know is that no one pays into Social Security. If you say that, just understand that that is a deception. We do not pay into Social Security. Social Security steals from us. We do not choose to pay Social Security taxes. That money is taken out of our check before we ever see it. We are not paying for ourselves. We are paying for others. We are simply being forced to give our money to other people for their retirement security. A Ponzi scheme. And this is the reason why Social Security is trillions of dollars in debt, and we have to make changes to this program so that we do not bankrupt the country. Hopefully, we will get to a place where people are incentivized not to rely on Social Security for their retirement, because it is unsustainable and it is a scam from beginning to end. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please purchase my book, Say No to Big Government, My Case for Maximum Freedom, available on Amazon.com for $18. Follow me on Twitter, Libertarian Black Man, and we hope to see you in the next video.